Good evening and welcome to your easy listening free enterprise Friday night community race. My name is Dathis and I am joined here by Deathlike. How's it going tonight, Deathlike?
Pretty good. I just wish I had my two scoops of vanilla before this race. I mean, and yeah, this race, Sid is centering all about Sid for this Friday night extravaganza, and I love the objectives for this race. Um, yeah, uh, I think the fun one we're gonna enjoy, I'm sure, is rate that treasury.
Absolutely. But the hope is that we have somebody who actually rates the treasury. The only thing is they just have to open it. They don't have to go in. But we have enough people who love the memes, especially Tybalt, who's going to be going in and taking a look. Another fantastic one is where our last fight is going to be. We have a few options to find. Again, we have Baron Castle being liberated, we got a super cannon, and we have Kakol's forging and Supersmith being a Sid weapon. We have a fantastic amount of options. We have Crystal Sword Light, we have a weapon that throws flare, and the nice thing is they can also be used by Kane and Cecil. So we see one of those, and we don't want to have Sid do damage. We got a lot of options.
Yeah, and I love the starting kit, primarily used on one of the tourney's dwarf Lollyho League, which pretty good set. Even though S quarters on, but we're gonna have a lot of use for the rune rings, whether we use it for equipment or sell them off because there's too many. But hey, we need that money early. Sell off half your rune rings, and you're on your way to buying something decent.
Absolutely. And as the runners are getting underway here, Death, I got a question. You see Sid, you're starting secondary character. Who are you kind of hoping for? I know the usual is something like a healer, but do you really want a healer for the overworld, like right off the hop, or are you looking for maybe something to give Sid a little bit of an edge in the damage situation?
I just like straight up an edge. Would just I mean you can start even thinking about doing early Urban Castle with you've got T Wildish on, so the loot could be good anywhere, but it'd probably be even better in Eblin. I think yeah, if you wanna, but I don't think we'll get that Kane. Oh, just hey, favorite favorite uh, favorite character, and we get underground access, so this is gonna be fun.
Absolutely. My favorite boy to see paired with Sid. Also, the Dwarf Axe is going to be great for the two of them. They can just sit in the back row and plink some damage all day long. Magma Key means the entirety of the blue planet is their oyster. That's a lot of free checks that's going to be opening up, and kind of leads you to even going like you can go straight into Fey March, then do set up Sheila 1, and then go right into back into going and doing the Sheila check, and you have a free heal right there. So there's a lot that can happen and a lot that's open, but we see a great amount of divergence. We have Eblin, we have Troya, and we also have Damsian. It's just a whole bunch everywhere. It's fantastic. I love this.
Yeah, I think checking the free key item. I don't think Demist is our favorite boss hunt. So, getting the free extra key item could be useful. Looks like a rat tail. Not immediately useful, but if we get the when we get the hook, we can turn it in and hope for something. I think we're gonna. I think at least we can at least take advantage of the back row glitch with the dwarf axes, and that's certainly good for even for a tank like Sid. Extra defense just by sitting in the back row is always a good thing.
Absolutely, and a little bit more extra defense. We do see a Dragoon armor set here. Nothing really special that I'm seeing in Eblin right now, unless my eyes have kind of been caught away. The loot here is mid-tier, kind of at best so far. Nothing pretty fantastic. Also looks like we're having a little bit of just visual issues with Mike. I'm pretty sure he's still running through, but we'll get that sorted out the second we possibly can. There we go. As say that, and he's caught up and just picked up his rat tail, so he's also going to be doing some looting here in the Troya treasuries.
Yeah, that was it's still a fairly popular place, especially you got the other side and T Wildish, so you're what could be considered not so great loot. The loot in Troya, like the open treasury, is still pretty good, and with a slightly like, kind of double the value in terms of other like open treasuries. So hey, free boss fight in the moon with a Porum in sight.
Absolutely. You can't really argue with that. Also, I don't know if you saw what Tybalt found. There's a cursed ring in the right tower, as well as the vanilla trap chest there too. So that's something fantastic to see. So we've already got what, 2 lovely helpings of vanilla-ish. You want to count the trap chests here? So yeah, you get yourself the murder child. We have ourselves betrayal, and we have the builder. We all in all, I think we have the great building blocks for a fantastic Z team.
Yeah, probably. I think probably try to lean towards a berserker group, but we'll see what other characters. But I mean, when you have Sid and Kane, makings of some a great start. I mean, it shouldn't take too much, and a lot of decent weapons shared between them, so you can kind of mix and match. Not worry about your equipment situation that early, even though we're seeing everyone loot. And the cursed ring is pretty good thing, especially for Sid, where I sometimes you can let him sit in the back, pick up a piece of dragoon gear, and yeah, he can just sit back there and not worry about most elemental magic.
Absolutely. We have Solaris doing a little bit of shopping percent now because we have a couple of things we can get rid of, namely that Asura. Like you said, there goes half those rune rings. That's a fair chunk of change that we're getting there. Soma drop. Can we have a single Soma drop for some MP for Kane, please? I think that's what we're missing right now.
Well, looks like Solaris did not taking that. Probably maybe in a free Soma drop. I mean, money is at a premium with Escorter on, so early on, and we don't have the dupe glitch, so we can't dupe away to all the money that we'd want. So yeah, I can see that. But it looks like deep early underground dive for both Solaris and Tybalt, so that might, and we'll see if probably do a quick Feymarch check for the freebies and peek what's there.
Absolutely. There is, again, so much open up to the runners that I do expect them to go underground and do a little bit of looking around. But once they're down there, as you said, the Feymarch freebie, we got the Sylph check that we can do as well. It just, the real hope is that we can find maybe, again, the hook to make that rat tail gain immediate value. Aside from that, it's we have here Elements, a very boss that you want to see early on in a spot that's just gonna be nice and quick.
Yeah, outline spot not too difficult. So and that wham bam thing.
Say it, and yeah, man.
That was pretty quick. I mean, I think it's all Flame Spear early, so yeah, that's an immediate weakness. Took advantage of it, and
hey, we're here for more vanilla tonight.
I'm all for it. Probably good check for a free character. Probably take a quick visit to Kaipo for that. So I probably not good time to cash that in. See, hope for early Fu or Edge to add on more power to the team.
Here at Free Enterprise, we'd like to let you know that Dath has had no way in rolling this seed whatsoever. I'm just here to commentate, people. I don't touch these seeds.
So he rolled the seed? No. There's always a decent chance of vanilla happening without Dath disappearing. So just it's a thing. Dath is creator of all vanilla. Give him Neapolitan, he'll still take vanilla.
It's true, and as a couple of people putting it in chat, I just have that aura where if I'm near a seed, apparently it just leaks in somewhere. So I'm kind of curious to see. We have our 2 scoops. Let's see if we can find a third somewhere. Speaking of finding something, if you don't mind spending a little bit of money, that Gungnir Spear is going to be carrying Kane through pretty much up until the end, if you don't want to do any more looting. And Tybalt finding probably one of the most annoying bosses in the game, the NPCs blocking your path.
They are the boss that you didn't know that existed. Yeah.
Urban and Regional Planner is our seed validation tonight.
Yeah, I think that was Edward in bed, so that's a nope. But the spoon, the spoon is on, so that might change if the spoon appears early enough. This seed. Well, looks like Tybalt's taking a nice trek to the Fey March, hoping for some good stuff. Definitely doing some shopping early on.
You like to see that.
Certainly, and that early dip in Fey March yielded. Well, you found the first chest, so everything else is easier to loot. So T-Wild should help here.
Absolutely. That's what you love to see when you're going into some of these trapped areas. You like seeing trap chests in nice, quick spots where you're like, okay, don't have to worry about that anymore. The more loot, the better. We also have Reckless Charlie about to go and find his little dose of vanilla as Solaris finds his own trap chest. And Mike, the runners actually, with as open as this is, there is so much convergence, which I'm kind of a little sad about because I'd like to see a little bit of more widespread. But I mean, it's the basic routing as you see, the not quote smartest way. Mirasame is everywhere. We find an edge. We're gonna have a stack DPS team. I'm telling you what.
Certainly. I think maybe a character you might be looking for. This, I mean, at least with this flex, it might be like Palom. You got when you have the dwarf kit, you have all those rune rings, and then you probably have less of a worry on the mobile chests. So those are typically, they can mess your day unless you've gotten your agility situated quickly. So haven't seen what the chest was yet though.
So it was the earth crystals you see in Tybalt's inventory. So again, do your objectives, check your freebies, because that is objective number 2, just kind of sitting here in the Fey March after Baron kind of gives you the magma keys. Like, here, go underground and get me something pretty.
Which also means some late looting. I mean, you're gonna probably route that in before maybe probably making a Zot trip. I mean, that's probably the last bit of loot you really need before you. I mean, especially with the weighings in the treasury, pretty kind of biased towards all the real good stuff like the burr and I think I don't know, no adamants, but definitely burr available. So all the even most expensive stuff you can probably find.
Absolutely. And speaking of expensive stuff, Mike finding a expensive but a very great shop. Starvale's Bacchus wines. Oh my. Whatever he's got out of his inventory and is stocking up. And we're going to get a look. I didn't see these before. What bosses do we have in the Fey March? That is a freebie and a sparkle. And yeah, we see Reckless Charlie looks at Eddie and says, if we can find ourselves a spoon, maybe we'll be back.
Yeah, until the spoon appears, the Edward, gonna stay in bed for a little bit longer. But hey, it's also a good place to get a free heal if that is actually needed. Most of the time, might not get routed in, but it's certainly there. Hey, here's an Ogre X just for Sid. If at least hold over Mike for now. It's probably one of his better weapons when you don't have Super Smith on. I mean, it probably competes with the Rune X if you like more damage, minus the attack. So they kind of trade power for accuracy. So could be decent either way. Decent choice for Sid.
Absolutely. You could even say that currently it is all Ogre now for Sid. The nice thing about that too is if they want to go back and loot Evelyn for some of those trap chests, Sid can kind of just 1 or 2 tap those Ogres, and that's a great infusion of experience if necessary. Solaris setting up that Sylph Cave check as well, while Tybalt is finally getting his Rat Tail. While gonna cash in, I am excited for a little bit of rate, because he is one of the ones who will rate no matter what, and especially 11 minutes in a T Wildish, I'm excited for some good stuff here. I'm gonna call what do you think it's gonna be, Death? Like, I'm calling a 7 out of 10 personally.
T Wildish, maybe an 8.
We'll see. Great.
Well, there's already that's a solid 8 out of 10 in my opinion. We got heroin robes, we got the earth crystal giving us some earth hammers, we have the earth crystal giving us a crystal sword, as well as a heroin robe. So if we ever need to let Porum bonk things, we can absolutely do that in these early fights. Uh, Honestly, solid 7. If we find a Cecil somewhere, it turns that into a 10. The Artie bow is also just a big chef's kiss on top of that, so we can have pretty much anyone do anything we want now. Damage is online.
Still need the character, but I think you still have a lot of the weapons available. So yeah, this is already starting to be really good. T Wildish on it's actually impressive on that treasure. It can still be junk, but it's so weighted. It's an impressive suit. That's what you really ask for in most, but for other T set changes, but T Wildish it's good anywhere, but even better where the loot is actually good.
Absolutely, and again, the low chances of seeing those tier 8s is with the crystal swords and Excaliburs and everything, unless Excalibur's been moved back to T7 if I remember correctly. We do have Solaris and Mike going, and wandering into Fabul, we have a Dark Elf that is going to be put down in just a couple of shots, especially with some of the weapons that we've seen here. Also, very lesser known, as some people use it very rarely, the Flame Spear being used as an item and doing more damage than what Kane would probably be doing swinging it around.
Yeah, I don't. Well, we have the Dwarf X early, so we can glitch him. But yeah, Kane does need his levels. Yeah, you might get his best weapon, but he still needs his level to get the multipliers going. Once you accumulate a decent amount of that, especially through strength, he's gonna be just like the Birdman himself without the actual weapons to do it with.
Absolutely, and we also have ourselves our Legend Sword. So, not in its vanilla location. It is nice to find in case we ever find the other half. We can actually go right back down and make Sid a DPS machine. And yet, we don't need that. Can we find another Cecil, please? 2 crystal swords to go. Thank you very much. Sheila 1, not giving a key item, but giving a crystal sword. If we didn't already have this earth crystal to give us one, fantastic find or money percent right now, because you got 1 crystal sword. You don't need 2, really.
Can we dual wield them? That's the dream.
We don't wrong flag set, but I'm here for the idea.
Yeah, I love the idea, but it's kind of your attack power is capped. But the bonuses, they stack. But that's an omnidextrous thing, but not in this particular flag set. I think we'll be seeing some interesting stuff. Oh, looks like an interesting early trip to ordeals.
I am kind of here for this. So it looks, with the power and what you have character-wise, this is kind of screaming that you're going to find a Cecil eventually, and the idea is just once you have Cecil, you just want him to, be a paladin immediately. I kind of love the idea. So it's like you're foregoing like a slower check out of the way. You're doing a slower check that's out of the way, powerful. Excuse me, but you're also getting yourself more power for later on. And the cheeky chocobo check is also one of my favorites. I used to coin that as the Invenerable Brush because he used to loot that a lot, and I stole it, and it had some good loot. Unfortunately, just a blizzard, but depending on what we find... you know what? I say just a blizzard, we find a multi-boss here, which I'll make very good use out of.
Yeah, this shouldn't be too bad. Doesn't look like... it looks like we've seen some Gaia Drum, probably. Though it'd be nice if there's an Elven bow. The Artemis bow would still be powerful, but Elven bow. These are all mages and would be able to take advantage. But I don't think, at least so far, anyone has any weapons that deal mage damage, and that magic's still powerful enough to at least if it hit Porm, it will hurt. So this magic still pretty high at this spot. But shouldn't be too bad because the HP isn't too high.
Absolutely. Between the Blizzard items, the Gaia drums, and everything, we have fights that are not really going to be anything that's worth dealing with. Yeah, Tybalt sees that edge, that Edward, and he too is just like, nah, I'm out of here. I agree. Until we find ourselves the spoon, he's kind of just regulated to having a nap in two different beds at the same time. Schrodinger's Ed, where is he actually right now?
It is an interesting thought. Like, you don't even have to actually find the Cecil yet, because if you pick up the Cecil early, it's just kind of like an early Edward, where like certain characters early, they don't have any impact, so they're just kind of there until they get to the point where they're useful. So so even if, like, say, Cecil was in Baron Inn, as an example, so it would having Cecil in the party doesn't actually make the party go faster just before he becomes a paladin. So probably doing this now actually does. I kind of agree with you. It makes a lot of sense to do this and do this now. Because, like, why wait? Convert him first, and then hope he shows up.
Yeah, and the nice thing is this is a lot of boss information. You have 3 different bosses, which could be ruder ones. Like this evil wall, you're really happy to see in the back attack spot, because it is not going to be, as we see, anything worth talking about, even if you don't even loot the treasury first. The power we have right now is just absolutely just wonderful. So you love to see it. It gets taken down. It falls down. Don't know how a wall manages to go across a cliff, but we're just going to ignore that while Sid is going to do his hero fight. And he's going to fight what his true form really is. I'm going to say he's Leviathan today.
What about vanilla? That's
I
always
would be 100% down with that.
no. It's the other brother.
Can we technically call this French vanilla? Because it's, it's Golbez, and Golbez is also a Lunarian. I mean, French vanilla with a little bit of caramel.
It's a flavor. Probably wouldn't be met. This battle will just take a little bit of time, just because of the sequence. Nothing to be done. You can't avoid the paralysis, but the damage, Sid is tanky enough, and the damage this spot because Golbez has a lot of spells, but this spot has no magic power, so Sid will survive. This is just time consuming of all things.
Yeah, and the nice thing is even if he did have magic power, Sid's got two pieces of Dragoon armor on, between one person's side or not. Solaris still throwing up a Starveil just to be safe. I kind of respect it, because it could possibly hurt, but no, I really don't expect. Yeah, 125 damage. Sid would be completely fine here. Look at that. One swing. There goes our poor Golbez. Just to see the kind of damage that can come by, but nothing special. Well, Tybalt is going up and seeing who's on the tower, which I also really enjoy. Again, the more characters you can get into your party, the better, especially since you have 3 and you just need 2 more. You got your full group.
Yeah, I think Solaris got Berserk. Getting Porum to Berserk, regardless of whether Rosa is up there, will be sufficient. I mean, when you have a right now kind of at least slightly Berserker heavy party, and if whatever remains is a Berserker, the guy's not on the common moon trip. Not this time.
I was going to say, everyone keeps saying that Antlion's natural habitat is the moon, but every race I've watched and every race that I've commentated since coming back, I only see him on Earth. Y'all have some crazy ideas about where he belongs.
Antlion migration patterns happen differently between the seasons, so it's sometimes when the moon gets closer, the Antlion is more attracted to it. It's one of the it's science.
Oh, so what's the current moon phase then? Is it not a full moon tonight? Is it a waxing gibbous? Is that why he's on the tower? He's like reaching up towards it?
I don't know. We haven't made a trip to deliver dark matters. Oh, that's a different scene.
All right, well, we have Reckless Charlie doing a little bit of shopping percent with Solaris, Mike treading some ground, and we have a little bit of time with this Antlion fight. One thing we have not done, I want to do a big shout out to, we have Asuka, who in fact rolled this seed with a couple of scoops of vanilla, not really a bit of root, and a whole lot of crystal swords that we know that she loves to have see go on Cecil's. as our resident researcher tonight, and we have eNinja81 and Sheep Launcher both doing our tracking tonight. Again, shout out to them, give big follows and loves. Also to my co-commentator here, Deathlike, doing a fantastic job keeping me sane and keeping me company tonight on the mic.
Having a lot of fun already. That wasn't too bad. That line only really threatening if you do direct damage to it, as Kane's jump doesn't count as attack, so it doesn't care. So Sid not having too much diversity in his skill set will cause it. Well, though using the Earth Hammer was a good alternative, but not enough damage. Just not. But hey, it's a sparkly thing, and I see the other twin, so I guess we get twin magic online? Nah, we'll get Quake gets magic.
Yeah, we do have the option of a little bit of Quake here. Once he gets a couple levels, we'll go underground maybe if we can find a siren or two. The important thing is, who is the distressful? That is a distressed mop. This seed is now kind of screaming a little bit of reflex rats.
Yeah, we have. I mean, we'll need the levels to get Quake in the line, but that's and it's definitely some bosses. So making a trip to to Ordeals would also speed it up. Although but at this point we probably not even really looking for a sea salt. But oh, nasty! Not a fun spot.
Depending on the spells that we've got from Fu, though, this is not going to be much of a problem. I do see we don't have anything. We have Exit. Hey, that's a spell. Yeah, this is where you kind of are going to be making very liberal use of these J items here, because this is about one of the last fights where they start becoming very useful. Kane's still doing Kane things. The Gaia Drum probably even going to clean up both orbs here. Yeah, we're going to get some Orb 19 or Globe 199s out real soon.
Yeah, that's gonna be an instant kill. That's a really strong spell, and this spot has a significant bit of spell power, so that's an instant kill for whoever decides to quack Kid. Well, he quacked under pressure.
Ooh. Yeah, unfortunately, he was just standing there, and he was a sitting duck. Unfortunately, a couple of bonks, though. No EXP on the Quack Kid. We do get through the boss, and we have ourselves another key item. I'm excited to see what Solaris's Fu is going to have, though, honestly. Those extra two bosses, Mike should be relatively the same. So it's going to be... I think he's also going to have the same power of a Fu. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of damage we have.
I think I think it'd be usually with an early Fu, doing the Demus spot check and the waterfall check is certainly. And Artemis, look at you somewhere. Porum will be even better.
Yeah, we have the ability to use those with the Artemis bows and go and crack some eggs on the moon right now. Additionally, even if it was not a great item, it's all about the Fu we made along the way. We have Iridia here. If we find a Darkness Crystal, this is kind of just like... I love Kane. I love my boy. This is kind of just like grind and go and slingshot for Iridia and just reflect nuke.
Yeah, we have a whole mage party. I mean, there's still a use for the high HP character. Kane probably the first to be eated. This doesn't. No, I mean, not much to be said. Oh, I'm trying to remember if this is a sea hero. It is. So yeah, we have to eat Kane if we want to. Like Sid will probably be the anchor, and everyone else is a mage. So that probably you could probably just keep Sid since I think type up for the curse. Oh yeah.
So yeah. So Solaris's Fu is just gonna nuke and throw the CPU into the oven, and it's gonna be a good time.
Certainly. Everyone's complete doing that. That's probably. Do they have weak yet? That maybe D machine run, or are we doing or we have a found source of sirens? I don't think we've seen either so far.
We have not seen either. I do agree with letting Rydia kind of just sit in the tower for now. And we're going to eventually head out and see what kind of shenanigans we have. But it looks like all roads are kind of leading through Dwarf Castle or um, through top of Babel. So Keyless Tower or Dwarf Castle, where are you making your call?
Keyless Tower, because no one expects the Keyless Tower, and then you'll probably find the tower key right there first, because
Oh, please.
that's because how many races have you seen that hasn't like this?
Wait,
That moment
no.
hasn't happened.
We need to have Keyless Tower into Harp, into Hook, which is the rat tail, and that is where the tower key is. And then that's nothing. And it was Dwarf all along.
Yeah, that spot. I don't think Fu has learned Quake yet. So I mean, if once Fu or Quake Kid learns Quake, then that area isn't so bad. I mean, Nuke will do everything, but you might not. You never know what's there. But Nuke is usually sufficient most of the time. So I like Quake because Quake Kid.
Oh yeah, Quake is more than sufficient at this point in the seed. Nothing here really has anything more than like a 5,000 HP, except for this Antlion, but that's a combined HP of 3 different bosses into one, so that's kind of cheating. You're not going to be seeing anything that's going to be anything that resembles a challenge. The closest thing I think that would give us issues might be a Wyvern right now, but even aside from that, like, what would you say would be giving us, quote, issues?
Anything that's fast and deadly. So it just, I think it's. I haven't really thought about the bosses that are left. There's just too many. I'm just seeing a lot of Porom missing a lot. Although that one, that got reflected into nothing. Yeah. There are some bosses on the table. Probably maybe a DKC. Like say Giant require. No, but the Giant is probably not. We're gonna avoid Giant. There's no reason to go there, but something like a DKC in a really nasty spot on the LST probably. A lot of outside of Sid and maybe Fu, the rest of the characters aren't going to survive even unless there's a grind is done previously.
This is true. So what we do have is we have Reckless Charlie and Solaris both fighting the CPU. Mike, who is going to be fighting that very shortly after. Tybalt knocking down the wall. Everyone kind of finding a little bit of a whammy about to come up. We have a life staff and we have some Artemis arrows coming up. So it's nothing terrible, but it's basically filling out your parties, knocking down some walls, and doing checks, which you hope is going to get you somewhere. But it's either going to be, again, underground. Is there a way forward? Nobody really apparently wants to do it. What I'm really curious is what that sparkle is at Leviathan. We know it can't be his French vanilla self, so we can't have that. A Wyvern there would be really entertaining to me, as well as it'd be slow and be entertaining. Could also see a Pale Dim, because that is very punchy, and I'm kind of here for it.
I'm thinking maybe D Lunars is kind of an interesting spot for them. I mean, they punch and they do some decent not the best of magic, but it's just enough to make you think twice of doing it. So I've often seen with that spot you want especially with tougher LST bosses, you want to do a decent grind before taking on that spot. So this is so that probably have some hesitation of even thinking of doing it. I mean, the other spot is free. I think it was the Kaipo or Baron guards. It's hard, but that's a much easier spot to deal with than the king spot in Fey March.
Yeah, we have ourselves some hourglasses, so as we can see in Tybalt's inventory. So whenever we want to go to the Fey March, we are guaranteed at least one key item going there, maybe two, depending on what the boss is. If it is Wyvern, a quick reflected Mega Nuke will take down about half his HP, if not a little bit more, and then Fu bouncing nukes back should do a little bit more, but it's going to be a very quick spot. Thankfully, we do have a cursed ring as well as the dwarf axe to just tank Sid's agility. Porum looks and says, "I'll take your wave and I'll shoot you back an arrow." And we have more fights coming on that we have everybody just trekking through. And I fully expect Mike to be joining the crew and getting his Rydia and yeeting her into the tower.
Yeah, I mean we have 5 characters, so I think the slingshot is online. So having Rydia being the last one to be picked up when that grind is to be done makes the most sense. Like, there's no reason to pick her up. She's just filling space and time until you actually need to do the grind. And then which case then you're probably gonna swap out Kane and try to do that grind then and there. So also seeing some number of instances of Porum not berserking. They probably do in part with the Heron armor. While a great great piece of armor here, but also affects a little bit of the accuracy. So seeing Porum do tele things with berserk is kind of hilarious.
Oh, absolutely. She is just taking the fact that Sid is in a medium agility spot and just kind of running through it. Solaris is 100% just saying, I don't want to do the underground bosses. Man, if something's here in this antlion cave that we want, and he is going to be sorely disappointed by, again, our lovely bit of vanilla and our another second bedward. But yeah, like I said, we have everybody kind of just retracing. Nobody wants to do dwarf. Guys, what's wrong with the dwarf castle check? It's not that bad. You get a character, 2 bosses, and a key item. Come on.
I think it's usually the first spot that is the trickier ones, because it's far punchier because you're using the Calbrena doll, not the big evil doll that's scared. It's kind of scares the trees. Oh, hey.
We were hoping you were going to show up somewhere else, my dude.
Maybe get the Artemis arrows off. That's Platoon. That's not too bad.
No, you want to keep those Artemis arrows on. She is going to just tell this wyvern to get out of here. So yeah, we have Witchburn. Very thankfully, it is not that opening Mega Nuke, as I keep forgetting because we love the little bit of that randomness. One Artie arrow doing 4k, Nuke doing 5k, so Porum is in fact hitting things real nice and hard. That is up to Quake on the Quack Kid, so he is online. Anything that Foon, that actually Porum can't handle, Fu and Palom are going to be able to handle. Speaking of, second boss, another Sparkle. Are we going to need to use some more arrows or a Quack? Who knows? Oh, hey, look, Edge.
I think
wow,
that's
eating the Palom.
That's interesting. Maybe we're going to try to shift back towards a Berserker group. We have 2 white mages, so that's more enough to spread the berserk around. And this shot kill on a
this side has no HP whatsoever. The nice thing is yeah, that's a quick check. The Edge here, the power that we have right now, Edge is going to be very, very beneficial because we have double Mirasames, so you just kind of throw those on him and he's just gonna slice, dice, and make julienne fries of whatever's left. If this is not a key item that is required, I'm going to call this is going to be a Luca key, by the way. If this is not a required key item in some way, then you're going to want Edge just to like take you over to Keyless Tower and make that do some good damage, or just any boss on this the blue planet right here. Wrong key. That was close enough.
But it's a required key. That's the key we need to complete our objectives. So might probably if we don't kind of size up into Keyless Tower, maybe it might make sense to just do the Baron check both, doing the Odin spot while we're there. We got fairly decent enough power to go through all of it. I think it's not and to power up Fu at the same time. So you might as well do the Baron check. That's 2 required bosses. Third optional, but we have all the makings of online Edge right there.
Yeah, look at that Edge. Double Mirasame. We have a full moon to give him back row glitch. He has ninja and he has black belt, so you get your picks of higher agility or not. And yeah, this is going to be just any sort of love that you'll want for him. He's going to just knock any damage out of the park. And the really nice thing is we also have both an ice and a thunderclaw. So if we find something that's weak to an elemental type here, he's going to basically be triple tapping or double tapping certain enemies. We see a vanilla Kanazo here. He just kind of throws on the ice claw, and it's not going to be a good time. That's all I'm going to say.
It's a good time. I mean, just a reminder: if you're gonna back row glitch with Edge, you must put the boomerang on his right hand. This includes when Omnitectus is on. It's how the bit is set only when the right hand, not the left hand. It's programming. It's perfect. This game is perfectly coded.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Are you saying or somewhat implying that this game is not a finely crafted, chef's kiss, perfectly done game that has no really bad bugs or glitches or game breaking things where you could walk up and down stairs a couple of times and maybe just skip right to the end credits or, some shenanigans like that? That, like, how dare you, sir? You're right, but how dare you?
Just because coding is easy or not really. It's not easy. Consider constraints of the console and what you have to work with. Making it perfect coded, not that easy, and finding all the bugs also not as easy. It's always easier to find the bugs after the fact. There's still some bugs that we still don't know exist. So there's always nothing wrong with more features in the game.
Also, as pointed out by one of our trackers, Sheep Launcher, we have everybody basically saying they will take an Edge over a Quack Kid. Again, for the short term, I kind of agree that you have a more beneficial time in getting the Edge. We do have Yang, who's decided he doesn't want to be King of Fabul, he wants to be King of Baron. That's a nice upgrade from being lead of the guards. I'm kind of here for this.
Well, there's more power in Baron. Fabul, you have all the monks. Your best weapon is a pan. That's what it is. It's pan. You want airships. That's why you take over Baron. There's no other reason to it.
Have you been hit by Yang when he gets some levels? Dude, you don't want to catch those hands. He can punch you nice and hard. I'm not about that. I will take an airship blowing me up. Look, we just fought him and he's like, okay, you guys have won my strength. What is he, a summon now? You've won my strength, now we'll join your team?
It's lore. You hit him over the head, he disappears, and then comes back. That's how things work in Free Enterprise. There's no other explanation.
Or we're thinking with portals.
Or time travel, or disruption of time. I mean, I'm all for it.
This is very true. He could just kind of pop through.
Look, I'm excited for the Baron pot. Hey, Darkness Crystal. Moon is a thing, but I think we're probably going to take a look at the Odin spot, the Odin spot first. At least take a peek at it.
Absolutely. We have I see the healing up afterwards because we've taken a bit of a hit. You kind of want to grab a little bit of health, then do that Odin spot. It could be something nice, but yeah, that Darkness Crystal kind of opening up the rest of the seed. I honestly foresee that we are going to have to do a little bit of a vanilla keyless tower here. That's what I'm kind of hoping for. But I also definitely can see that this is going to be a fun fight down here. Yeah, we see Tybalt saying, nope, we're going to put everything we can. We're going to give Sid the lowest agility we possibly can. And yeah, Porum I have one job. It is burst. Let's get things going. And this is a party I'm here for.
I think this is some thought. We haven't seen where Val is yet, so having an all-mage party and then maybe having to do a Val fight might be problematic. So going with the Edge over Pelham makes a lot of sense. I mean, Fu will do what Pelham will do anyways for the most part, and so it's not like outside of Quake. you want to use some other spells, like preferably nuke instead of just Quake, because Quake is great, but you can't. But nuke is better. That's
Oh,
just the way it is.
yeah, there's no contesting that. And Quake is not quite outlasted. Ooh, hey, look, 3 hourglass too. Quake has not like outlasted its usefulness, but we do have just something that we're kind of like needing a little bit more oomph behind it. This is a fight where you're still happy to have Quake. And hey, you know that hourglass 2 we just got? What if we threw it right here and then just kind of, or you know what? No, I'm here. We have some swag, and especially from a food that's named after you, I'm 150% here for the swag medio from Tybalt. Guys, huge shout outs to Tybalt for doing this. This is just gonna tell these dolls, get out of here, have a good night, and we're gonna move on. But it's we're gonna be here for a second.
Yeah, I think this. I don't think we. I think I saw the curse ring on, but Sid is not in the appropriate spot to anchor.
As
So
hero, it does not matter. He
Oh,
can
that's
anchor
right.
from any position.
I forget forgetting all these
It's all
particular
good.
rules. It's been a while, so yeah. Like I always like when you're doing all that, you just want to be consistent. It's like put Sid in the middle spot just for the extra. But hey, I'm here for swag rocks though.
Pink
And
tail.
hey,
So we have a dead key item right now. I'd still hold on to that because we have something nice. So to go back to your point for also we have Mike going to do some Feymarch bosses. Maybe I'm here for it. To go back to your point about where you want to have Sid, I actually disagree with him being in the middle at that point. If you have a C hero and you don't want them doing like damage or you're going to have them low, that middle spot is where you're going to want to have somebody like Porum or somebody like Kane if he's got an axe. The accuracy in that spot is so huge that you really want to have it on things that have multiple rolls of attacks. Again, axes being a big one, or for example, arrows. Yeah, Mike just tosses at the hourglass, gonna get stone, and we are gonna get our first look here. We have in just a power shirt. I say just a power shirt, but that's gonna be good for later. Bit of a womp, but you know we have options still.
I'm trying to remember. Like, see, and I'm just used to trying to do it. Just put them all in the middle, forget about it. But yeah, there's
Oh, absolutely.
the use of having the middle character actually have actual benefits. Essentially increased accuracy for both attacks and spells. So Quake Kid or maybe a Fu needs the extra accuracy for weak. That's kind of important though. Yeah, that's extra. The extra accuracy usually is beneficial for attackers, for berserkers, and spellcasters that need to have the most accurate spells. And Plague, that's actually pretty free, seeing on Mike's screen.
Yeah, we have so many Bacchus wines. We have 2 other ways of casting Berserk. We have Kane. We have Porum, who's got some bow and arrows. This is just gonna be nothing special to deal with. Also, we have Charlie doing Keyless Tower. I'm here for this. And we're going to get some sirens being stolen, which is going to be very nice for later on.
Yeah, don't think we found sirens. It could be on the moon or in the Eblin or in Cave Eblin shop. So right now, since we don't have the hook, that makes sense to try to pick up a few just in case, just in the very remote case. Hey, sirens are not appearing in the seats, so you might as well, and you have Porum to make it easier. Stealing with Cry reduces the effective level that Edge needs to steal with, so it makes it easier for Edge to steal. Awesome pairing.
Absolutely a great pairing. Speaking of another great pairing, we have a Maiden on the Moon. We have our lovely Lady Rosa, who is in fact sent back down to the blue planet. Again, at this point, you're kind of going to keep your Porum. She's got almost enough levels to to rival Rosa. You don't have to throw any more work on it. Mike gets through that fight very easily. Just a Dragoon Helm. In all honesty, with the amount of power that you put into that and the amount of resources, I would kind of reset out of that and just say, nah, I'm not about that. But Mike wants to keep those levels, which is also another really good reason.
Well, it's a pretty free battle. I think that was Mike's first trip. I'm sure the other runners have peaked that and faded it. So it's kind of to Mike's advantage in a sense. The knowledge is there. Like you peaked it, and sometimes when you fade it, you can just peek at the boss that's time saved. So, and Mike knows there's nothing left there, but you got that experience that you kind of needed a little bit of. So Mike is also doing tower check, and it looks like the other guards. I don't remember which was in Feymarch, which set of guards were in Feymarch though.
Oh yeah, I don't either. Oh, we have a blue robe. Do we have an alt gauntlet, or is this just not quite disappointment because it's still gonna be 3 hits and gonna be a little bit of a wonk, but or are we gonna have a good time? We're gonna have a good time. This is the alt gauntlet. We have 5 fights we're about to go through. Do you want this key item here in Cave Value? Find out more after this not quite rude fights. Because the really nice thing is Foo's got access to some spells. Unfortunately, Tybalt's Foo has about 20 MP going in that fight, so he said, "Nah, we're gonna just get this done real quick."
Yeah, didn't heal up before that. Happens when you're racing. You don't always heal up, and then you find alt gauntlet instead of water hag. That happens. It's probably worth the reset anyways. Probably would be worse off trying to continue that whole set of this is also the grind, kind of effectively the grind at this point. So, but you might as well do it. You're right here. You're gonna try to complete it, even though it's not at least we not know what's the key item, the result there. So, it might be worth it. And if it's not worth it, you'll still get the grind. So either way, probably worth it for Tybalt.
Absolutely. You're here for a little bit of the free XP. Reckless Charlie just does a little bit of quaking. We have the guards put away, and we're going to have Mike right behind him. I'm curious as to what we've got here. That's a hook. Oh, you got to walk that out. You can't just leave that.
Yeah. So, we don't know what though the chances of say rat tail into tower key, that could be hilarious, because then it'd just be a hard required double dip. So that that might pay off for Charlie for sure.
That is the big thing, is we still have a lot of key items out in the wild, so this could be anything. This could be a package, could be a harp, could in fact be the tower key after that, it could just be the Luca key afterwards, or we could get the pan. Maybe even the other half of Forge. So many checks, so many key items still available. So I think it's a decent shot that we're going to get something necessary. A pass would be entertaining to find, but that'd be about the only one that would be like the least beneficial not Zong.
The alt gauntlet is a little kind of a struggle for Tybalt a little bit. It's not too bad so far. It's the Artemis arrows are going to carry quite a bit of them, but having I see a decent stack of hourglasses would kind of make the series of fights easy. You'll probably at least take a few early shots, but nothing, not even attempt. And you unfortunately cannot do the life glitch on undead. That is the only thing that dupe glitch in bosses. That's one of the things dupe glitch does. The life glitch does not work on.
You are correct. So you would have to want to go, for example, for that Warlock first, who does hurt at this point of the game with those tier 3 spells. Also, a kind of a rude bit of a fight here. These two red giants can hurt. We can't take advantage of their counter script where they just explode if you cast a summon on them. But yeah, we have yet another really, really cheeky key item. That rat tail turned into a Luca key. You kinda can't say no. You gotta keep that as well. In addition, we have both Mike and Reckless Charlie. No, your screens are not duplicated here, folks. They are in fact doing different options, but they are both going down and seeing what is currently here down in Evelyn Cave. We do have some coffins. If you're gonna crack some eggs, that's nice. But with the team we have here, the dragon, the King Ryu might be a little bit better.
Probably you should be able to still weak both of them. They're not. I mean, they don't have the boss bits. They just. I'm not. I assume trying to just let Porum hit all the things, and that's fine. I love when Porum bonks all the things. It's thoroughly enjoyable at any point. Old man on the free character, probably not worth it. You already have a Fu. Don't need a secondary mage. I mean, Fu is Tela plus.
We got our required old man quota for the stream. I would absolutely love to see all 3 of them in here, but not gonna happen. And yeah, Tybalt's saying, you know what, I could save these hourglass maybe for grinding, but let's do something else. Also, as we have our tractor sheep launcher saying, Cecil's at the end of Giant. Maybe not. We do have the package character to check too, so could be hanging out there. 50-50 shot. We may still see Cecil sometime.
Yeah, I think at this point, if you find a Cecil, look great. If you don't, Kane will be sufficient, and it's not the worst. I mean, Cecil will certainly be upgraded, and Kane will be the first to be eaten. But there's a point where if you get Cecil if you get a Cecil late enough, and you've kind of effectively done your grind, that even with the burr, it's not. You have to still find a way to gain the level, decent enough levels where Cecil essentially would be the same as Kane up to a point, and there is a point. I don't think it's quite late yet, but another 10-15 minutes in the seed, further into the seed, like when you're doing an LST dive, it's probably too late.
Absolutely, but the XP that you can get from bosses, especially with a slingshot, double XP, and everything like that, you can still make that Cecil relevant, especially since all he really needs is Power Shirt, Crystal Sword, and just kind of berserk and go. He will be putting out probably as much damage as this Edge right now, but it's acceptable. Like, you could do it, but I think at this point you're kind of just like committed to who you have. Kane's going to be putting out some okay damage. You'd probably replace him if anybody. We have Fu doing Fu things, nuking, casting spells. We have Rosa now instead of Porum, who Solaris is, I think, the only one who's taken the Rosa. So we have that as our berserk / part of our power couple. Again, we could make the Cecil work. Is it a little convoluted? Yes. Is it worth it for memes? Also yes.
Doing it all for the memes. Could subscribe to some of that. I can't. I think. I mean, I think everyone has done Zot. That's a womp. But here it's decent grind, and say, hey, some mage armor so that they don't just take a punch and take a nap immediately. So it's still worth it. Not what you want, but certainly not empty-handed.
Okay, looks like we go into there. Yeah, you said all we have is a nice hat. So we found where Canada is currently hiding because they can't be online due to some personal issues. The internet up here in Canada, I am very lucky that I got to avoid that. But to some of my others who are on other internet, unfortunate if you are currently wildly unavailable to watch. If you're watching back later, my guys, I suffered with you, but for now we are enjoying ourselves a lovely free run. We have Yang's killed on Mike and Reckless Charlie's side, and we're going to see that Tybalt is diving the LST.
We know. Tybalt hasn't done the Feymarsh checks, but that's when we know there's nothing there. So this is probably the most logical thing. Although Solaris has not kind of even peaked the sealed cave. Probably, seeing that's kind of out of the way, and you'd have don't think it's done the keyless tower dive anyway. So right,
he has not.
Yeah, so it's one of those. So is it behind sealed cave or is it behind LST? And I think at this point, or at least for Tybalt, it makes kind of a lot of sense to do this. Could be behind one thing, sealed cave or this. So from a routing standpoint, this makes the most sense. You get all your key items left, at least concentrated here. So probably a good chance of finding what you need to complete the seed.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the fact that like you're on the moon here, there's a good shot that you're going to be finding you'd be finding your path, so you're going to want to kind of focus on that, get it knocked out, and just one of those, I just don't want to see it here. You've got the power where you can basically going and fighting Zeromus now, so no boss here is going to be quite that bit of a problem. Maybe Rubicante in the D-Lunar spot, but aside from that, you're kind of not really focusing on what's going to be too rough. Like if you see Solaris here taking out these fights here, not going to be too much of a problem. We're Tybalt going to see what is our White Spear altar.
Surprised not to check the ribbon first, but hey, whatever, doesn't make a difference. You probably don't. I'm doing a quick item count. No, I don't think it's quite 10 yet, so probably trying to avoid that. We're still needing to. Still don't know where the adamant is. For the forge, and we don't have the tower key. So it's 2 key items. So yeah, the math does favor doing this. So even if unless the rabbit hole is really long and required from sealed cave, this is probably the next best thing, if not the thing.
Yeah, and if he was going to be saving this for the XP, then you'd be doing it kind of a top-down approach where you do your Asame altar, then Crystal Sword altar, then here, then the ribbon room, just for the hopes of getting that 10 key items. Although I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal one way or the other. It's just preference at that point.
The rare. Hey, that cursed ring in Dragoon armor is awesome. That's right. So seeing that on Tybalt's screen with that Ice 2, it's nice.
Oh, package. You kind of reset out of that. That's not a fight you're going to want to go for. As much as it'd be really nice. So also, our tracker even saying in chat, if this is package, do you walk it out? It is package. I personally, knowing you have the entirety of the LST, I would see at least what the fight is, because again, we know where Alt Gauntlet is. This could literally just be a Water Hag or a nice easy fight. Walk that out, and then you have a possible Cecil. Because that is one of two. It is either going to be our dupe or is going to be a Cecil that is currently sitting there waiting for us.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. So yeah, probably not worth. Even I guess. I mean, the only time that the package might be worth working on if that was Cecil, but then you'd have to do the entire sequence, so that's a lot of time for a character, just a literal character gamble. So it doesn't look appealing on the surface. So I can understand. It looks like Tybalt is kind of doing what I'm suggesting with picking up the spoon. So it looks like, hey, let's see what is at the Ogo spot.
So if I'm in Reckless Charlie's position, I would look at this, I'd say, it's package, this is Luge and Balinap, this is a long fight. It's a little bit of HP, it's spread out among the two, so it's not going to be as bad, but this is just going to be really a pain, is kind of the thing that I'm saying here personally. I would not take this. I respect taking it, and I'm kind of excited to see what this package character holds out. This could in fact be our Cecil, and if it is, then this is a fantastic gamble too. Plus, this is going to put Charlie at 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah, this is his 11th key item, as pointed out in chat, also by Fiery Blizzard. If this was key item 10, I'd 100% keep it, but because it's 11, you're kind of like, not really necessary.
I mean, I'm sure. I feel like Charlie's gonna probably see it out just for us, the viewers, to see what that could be. But it looks like Azure is on the Ogo spot, probably not too shabby. Although Sid taking a nap, doesn't matter if he's taking a nap, he's fine. It doesn't. In the end, it doesn't matter if Sid is up or down, as long as he's anchoring, since Sea Hero, so it's fine. Everyone will pick up XP, although I don't think there's no split XP, so it doesn't matter if Sid is alive or not. Oh no, pick up XP anyways. That's
exactly, yeah. Benefit, yes. The split being gone doesn't really matter, which is fantastic. And here, this can be a really rough spot if you find a very punchy, very magic heavy spot. because this is just an all-around rude fight. It's fast, it punches, it casts spells. If you've never fought the Magus Sisters here, you've never seen how much a Lit 2, Fire 2, and Ice 2 can really hurt. Probably one of my least favorites. The second least favorite is if you don't do enough damage quick enough, is seeing your boy Dark Elf here. Those litany of spells coming out can really put the hurt on people.
Yeah, I think this is one of, this is definitely one of the highest spots for magic. So yeah, if you haven't seen Quad 9 Glares, here's the spot to see it at. So yeah, this not it's even higher than what a normal character is able to get. Monsters kind of have a higher cap, so that's the way it is. I don't know why it's so high, but is it necessary? Who knows?
Hello, DKC.
Of course, good time to find Pain Man. Probably
well, we got the Cure 4 off is going to be a nice free fight now.
Was this the what spot is this? Is it the Pale Dim spot or the Wyvern spot?
I believe this is Wyvern. I can't actually no. I think this is actually Pale Dim. D-Lunars. Thanks to Sheep Launcher for keeping us honest. Tower Key and a Moonveil. I'd walk out the Tower Key. The Moonveil itself is very much worth it as well.
Yeah, that's the key we do need, but we still need to probably look at the other spots just in case the Animant is actually on the moon. But it looks like, although don't know if Mike's checked the Wyvern spot, so probably he's gotta follow the objectives, just see and hope this Tower Key has the Adamant at Super Cannon or something from the Super Cannon leading to Adamant.
Yeah, I was gonna say is like maybe we're gonna go to Cave Value, but no, it looks like we're just getting there. But Solaris is finding that we have a lovely bit of some arms here. I think this might be the Crystal Sword spot. I couldn't quite see, but I'm really curious. Also, very unlucky, Kane getting reflected, and we see him doing the dance back and forth. Actually corrected, this is the Pale Dim spot. Pale Dim with a rude Baigan throwing out a reflect on the one character you don't want to see it on.
Yeah, Baigan, probably not quite Dark Imps. It's probably I would argue probably a more threatening Dark Imps fight. You know, three pieces. The left arm and the body are considered the front row, so our right arm is in the back row. So two punches can be pretty threatening, but not when you have Quake. You're pretty good, and yeah, that took care of that.
Well, that's a fight you 100% walk out regardless, because that just means you finish off the moon and you don't bother coming back. That is a pass from the Pale Dim Murasame spot, so you're kind of okay with seeing that. So yeah, it's a time to take care of that. Tybalt sees the fight, says, yep.
Yeah, was there a reset? I didn't kind of was paying attention to different screens, but yeah, that I actually like kind of like peeking the Pale Dim spot first and then doing the bottom up just like I mean you end up still kind of going to Wyvern last. Obviously objectives, it's randomizer and anything can be anywhere, like could be the Wyvern spot, but I don't know. I find that the Pale Dim spot is kind of secretly a great spot for kind of things you actually need and want. Just especially if you're kind of gambling, if you feel like you're behind, it's kind of a place to gamble and hope the key item you want is at that spot. Even though it could be like just as much be as the Wyvern spot or any other spot in the LST. That's just me.
And we see Tybalt also playing with the inventory boss, saying, I don't like some of these items. Actually ditches the Moonveil too. Could be big later, but as we can kind of seeing some of these bosses, a lot of the punchy ones are kind of gone, so a longer lasting Starveil is kind of all it is.
Yeah, Moonveil has a lot more value early on when you have a boss fight where you just cannot take the punches, just because
Yeah.
there are just some spots where they really punch way above their weight, and Moonveil's value about when you're this late, it doesn't have that much value. It's not like everyone hasn't at this point. Tibble and all the other racers have done some semblance of a grind, whether it's alt gauntlet. I see a King Nazo. I think that's the Wyvern spot.
Ooh, this is gonna be a very fast, very painful wave. You ever want to see wave do some damage? Not doesn't really knock people down, thankfully, but it's gonna be a really quick spot here.
Yeah, but I would actually be more threatened at the lunar spot where you have combined HP. I don't
Oh
think
yeah,
Wyvern.
that's not a good time.
Yeah, this is not as bad, but it is threatening if there wasn't a grind done at I think Solaris has done Cave Valley, so the XP is there, so it's not as a concern. If you even get a quick nuke out, you're doing pretty well. Your head wave depends on the caster's HP. So as Kenosa has more life, the more damage dealt. So a quick nuke does work.
Yeah, the nuke makes it so that these waves are going to hurt very much less, and with the rest of the damage already inside the shell, yeah, this is nothing really to talk about. Didn't see what the key item is, but I do see Sheep Launcher talking about a glove, so I'm going to guess that pan chain is not something we even really want to talk about, so we're just going to kind of walk it out and... oh no, sorry, a glove from the Sylph, so I'm going to walk it out and going to see what Sheila 2 has. I hope she has something okay. Let's get some music here, but that's really about it.
Oh, Panchain. So I missed where that Panchain. Oh, from the sealed cave. I'm totally missed it.
Ooh, adamant. Ooh, twin harp. Hey, look. There is no witching here. This was just a random wild guess, and we have 3 key items left. Please and thank you.
I think we found where adamant is, and then we found the tower key was at the ribbon room. So we're pretty much in no mode. So go mode isn't too far along if we just clear out the LSTs, which is essentially what everyone will eventually be doing. So
except for Mike, who's going to go through the harp because he's like, "Hey, I haven't touched the LST yet. I've got this chain. Honestly, committing to the chain, this is where it kind of." I'm not going to say bites you, but this is where it's unfortunate to see as someone who has the overview knowledge that we have. We know that this isn't going to lead to anything worthwhile because we found basically everything else. This is a 17 and a 17 seed right now. So this is just going to be a zonk. But if anything else, we are going to love it because we absolutely love getting some music here on stream. But at this point, you've kind of committed this far into a chain. You got to see it through because if you don't, it's like you... quote, wasted all this time. We know it's a time waste anyways. This is not a bad decision. This is a good decision with the information that he has right now. So never a bad decision to be made. And I love when you kind of you kind of just gotta go, you know what, I've started this, might as well finish it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where K-Main has generally a lot of the key items. So when it kind of extends to K-Summon in K-Moon, there's just you don't have that many options. But hey, we'll be kind of out of your way pretty soon, as Fu doesn't know how to bonk himself, so Dark Elf will do that for him.
Well, getting himself the tower key, running up, and he knows he needs to get this going. Also has the adamant. I'm really curious what the Super Forge is, because that's the big question. We have a Palom being picked up instead of a Cane. Are we gonna go full reflect? No, it doesn't look like it on Charlie's side, but I'm gonna be a little quiet here because we're gonna have DJ Spoony B's rockin' tunes here tonight on Free Enterprise. So first, I'd like to thank Mom Bomb for having an extra 10,000 HP there, so that we can get a bit of an extra rendition of some fantastic music. I'd also like to point out that we have yet another eatable sword, holy sword. Excalibur, no, I do agree with that reset. That's a very, very angry reset. If I was in Mike's position, I agree with that. But we also have our Supersmith weapon, which is the Fiery Hammer. Sid only weapon. We have ourselves Crystal Sword Light.
With some free nuke, but I think for free enterprise, you can, we can only use nuke as an item. So that's well, whatever. You're gonna he can, I guess Sid can contribute. That's not the worst thing. Those nice tunes. I mean, the dedication to Sid. I mean, it's the Enterprise, right? Oh wait, it's a different game. Final Fantasy 1 Airship. Really good tune.
Yeah, and while we're going to be flying high here on the sounds of that music from the airship, we do have ourselves some eggs being cracked by Mike. He has a double key items here going, so he's going to get a lot of experience. Looks like we have our Z team here, and we have Kane, we have Edge, we have Fu, we have Sid. Also, Tybalt making another good use of this, and this is very smart for anyone to know. If you cannot find silk webs anywhere, but you can find sirens, you do have ways to find sirens. Find silk webs. You can steal them from the tunnelers outside of the Coal shop. So, very heads up play and very, very smart for him to do that. We also have a Crystal, Solaris, our first person officially in go mode, ready to go and fight Zeromus, while we have Tybalt about to be picking up his Supersmith weapon right behind him.
Yeah, that's it's always good comfort having a Silk Web 4Z just in case, well, at least just to make it a little bit easier, if anything. Although properly anchored Sid with Curse Ring probably not that bad, but Silk Web on final boss, you also get the new counter, but usually good to do the Big Bang nerf. Certainly worth using just to make any race, especially any Z fight, at least a little bit easier.
Ooh, and we have Tybalt, who is a little unhappy that he spent a little bit too much money, is trying to get himself those power shirts, and as well as that White Spirit, does finally manage to sell everything but the kitchen sink, essentially. Get it, and we have our Fire Hammer for him too. Solaris and Tybalt are both with their Crystal. Solaris with the advantage with having this pass in hand, and Tybalt having to make that walk down. The only negative between the two of them, but ladies and gentlemen, and the Hishis and Days, we have ourselves a race.
Certainly, Solaris having a distinct advantage. Probably can be trying to think of the math. I think the Curse Ring did. I'm not sure. Curse Ring was picked up by Solaris, so Tybalt might actually have kind of an advantage, an anchoring advantage there. So not really a reason to put Sid in the middle, as kind of discussed earlier. Although probably, although I think it was perfect agility, right? 14 for the particular fight, so probably could.
That's what I saw.
Yeah, so that's like that. Yeah, that kind of. So you don't even need the curse string, so you can use the fiery hammer from the back row with that kind of full power. That's actually that's kind of, Solaris' Sid kind of has an advantage, technically.
A little bit in that aspect, but in the same token, you could even go with the weapons we have here and everything. This is a team that is power overwhelming light, as opposed to just kind of like Cecil going to town and doing all the damage. You have everybody's going to be pumping out about, I'm going to guess, minimum 3k from everybody. That Sid's probably going to be popping out 5, even without needing to curse him down. So we're going to be looking at real high strength. We have a couple of flags coming out. Deathlike, what's is it really that late? I didn't know it was time for us to go to bed already.
It's late on the East Coast, not too late on the West Coast in the U.S. But maybe they're telling us we should take naps. No, that's not it. No, it says for Final Boss, Zeromus, favorite boss for everyone who's played this game. But this is a randomizer. And we liked Z to cosplay as something else because changes forms. So dress him up as something else. And so the question we all would like to ask. I guess you want to do that, Tathis?
Whose butt are we gonna kick tonight? And additionally, is that butt cute? Does it have a butt? What are the other questions we like to go about and ask? How many butts does said butt have? But we do have the Crystal Throne. It's ready to go. We are going to see who Zeromus is going to be looking at today. If we have a little bit of Vanillamus, I'm okay with it here. Is it wearing a hat? That's a good question. See if you can find a hat, see if you can find the butt, and how many butts are there?
Definitely not a hat. No. Don't recognize it, but I'm sure someone will let us know. It's looks like kind of a dragon. I think there's we'll see some berserkers, but probably some hybrid strats to go on top of that. So there'll probably be some reflected shenanigans with Solaris. Although that was an instant death on Rosa. Oh well.
So speaking of reflected shenanigans, that is a triggered counter nuke on poor Rosa, who gets eaten for about 2k damage. Or 2200 damage, and as mentioned by our lovely and fabulous art wizard Skull Kitty, who's done a lot of the sprites we have here. This is Celestial Shinryu from Final Fantasy Type 0, a fantastic RPG that I honestly need to play a little bit more myself because they have some great characters, and from some of the Final Fantasies they have shown up, but we're not going to talk about those here because we have this Z fight going on, and again, as I said, damage coming out fast and furious. Look at Sid popping out that 5,600 damage there. We have Bacchus Wine going on pretty much everybody. I want to see it on Fu. Can we get the Quince? Do it, Solaris. Do it.
Might try for the swag. Right now, probably needs to go, at least get through the refill phase before even thinking about it. Right now, probably should try to, probably take one more Big Bang and then maybe go heal up or not, skip the healing and just go Quint. So, but needs the kind of the Big Bang nerf. That's Fu's job at this point, I think. And if not, just hope he survives. Everyone is
also we can have a little bit of a comment again from one of our trackers, Sheep Launcher. We have 12 races going tonight that are 8 that are not on stream here. We have no finishers, so Solaris has a really good shot of taking up first here. I'd like to see Tybalt kind of snake in first place, but no, the damage coming out from this team here, I 100% foresee Solaris getting it locked up. This is as clinical of a Z fight as you can see. We've got damage coming out. Everyone's sitting at high, almost 2,000 HP. Cure 4s are going to keep the health going on. The Shakes, I see he's hanging around on Sid or on Food, just maybe even see the nerfing of the Big Bang. Yeah, this is as clinical as you get with T Wildish.
Yeah, I think the Tybalt's Tybalt's kind of behind because did not get the pass, did not check the pale dim spot, which would have provided the pass. So that's just the clear time difference. And of course, white mages and nuke. They always take a nuke. That's it seems like a trend, but because white mage, you want white mage alive for a lot of these things. But Fu is still around, and we have reached Meteor phase. So
yeah, Solaris has met rocks, but he is going to be our possibly first place finisher on stream. We're going to wait for the crack bang. Yep, there it is. Crack bang. The Shakes. Solaris is our first place finisher on restream at 1 hour, 21 minutes, and 41 seconds. GG's to him, but he is our second place finisher overall. We have Poidrak finishing in first place with 1 hour, 21 minutes, and 13 seconds with a fantastic snipe. GG's to the both of our first and second place finishers, and we're going to see if we get Solaris in for an interview. Will be joining us shortly.
Yeah, it looks like Tybalt was caught a little bit. I think Porm was berserked at one point, lost the arrow. So that's I think there was a
That
replacement
is
arrow.
great.
So that's that's a shame. That you when you're in berserk, that last arrow is not consumed, but when you die, it remembers and did not actually replace the weapon. So Prom could punch Z to death. I guess.
Very much. And speaking of very much of punching, we have Solaris, who has punched through the seed, second place overall, first place on Restream. GG, Solaris.
Hi, thank you.
So, you have yourself a Sid, you have yourself a Kane, and we have an open seed with a magma key. How are you feeling about what options you had tonight?
So the traditionally correct thing to do with that team is to go to Eblin Castle and T Wildish, and I didn't really want to do that, so I was just like, oh, I'll just go grab where loot is and then go underground and go shopping. And that's kind of basically what I ended up doing, with a dash of fading Antlion unintentionally for a while there.
You didn't miss much besides Eddie sleeping in yet the other bed.
I know. I was
the
so
only
ready for a Cecil.
Yeah, the only other... Oh, yeah, everyone was. I don't think we
know.
saw what the package character was. I know Reckless still has his. The only thing you really missed in Evelyn Castle was a curse ring, which probably wouldn't have done you any really good this season.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, we got ourselves underground. You faded the LST a little bit until like near the end. You said, okay, let's just run the entire way through. What made your decision to go? I think you did more of a top-down approach, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah, I went very top-down. So, I just felt like, so the whole like earlier doing Zod, I did Zod into Baron Inn, and that was just all worthless. Going to Antlion later, getting Sand Ruby, bothering to go check the Sand Ruby, which I guess I assume everybody does, but like that ended up being Edward. Like it just felt like a lot of stuff I was doing early didn't pay out, and then when I did the Fey March, because when I was first down there, I didn't really feel safe to take on whatever that was, the guards or the soldiers. So when I came back, and those both had nothing, and I'm sitting on this darkness, I was like, well, time to go gambling, and just went full top down. I went into Cave Bahamut expecting to take like a behemoth or something, maybe take on the boss. I was not expecting the alt gauntlet, and I was like, I guess this is a grind. And then it did, just kind of a full top down, including the Demarine. So I did Mura, and then I did Crystal Sword, which Crystal Sword Altar had, like, it was actually all valuable. It was pass into one objective, into straight to the Ribbon Rune for the second objective. So that was pretty lucky, all told.
Yeah, speaking of a little bit of the gambling, you mentioned Tybalt the Gambler, who has finished 4th place overall, 2nd place on Restream, 1 hour, 24 minutes, 36 seconds. We're going to have a GG's for him in chat, and we will be getting him in after you. So yeah, nothing but value, kind of on the way down. So speaking of value, we also have our edge value that happened in Dwarf Castle. Pretty much everyone looked at that Palom that we had and said, no, and just said, what was your thinking?
Well, I had Fu at that point, really, was the thing. And like, on T Wildish, you're gonna get a really good Zerker weapon from foraging. Either you get the Fiery Hammer, or you get the Gigantaxe, which would have just gone on Kane instead, probably. Palom just doesn't really fit on the end game team.
No, I absolutely agree with that. So we have a little bit of a couple of scoops of vanilla here. Again, with Kane, we have our Sand Ruby. What in seeds like this with T Wildish is kind of what you're thinking of as like your main, like you said, your main plan of looting was kind of just go through Eblin Castle, but you went against that. What made you go against like where you really wanted to go?
T Wildish is weighted so well that you could kind of go anywhere and find value along the way. Like, I went to Damson Basement at first, which honestly had nothing, but then, since I had Magma and I went underground, looting along the way towards the Fey March, had like a Gungnir and, I don't know if I saw a Power Shirt. No, the Power Shirt came from the There were a bunch of like good items, including a Gugnir, kind of on my way. So it's like on T Wildish, you can take an approach of just sort of grabbing what's along the way until you get enough power where you feel comfortable, and then you use that to kind of run forward. Just pretty much what I ended up doing. I will say I did some extra shopping. I was looking for carrots. I wanted to take a carrot, stick it in a chocobo, and put a crystal sword in there. I just couldn't find one.
I love it. I absolutely love it. So one last question from me, at least. So the very important question about that seed, you got to rate that treasury. What was your rating of it out of 10?
Oh god, what was in it?
We had a crystal sword. We had 2 power shirts. We had
the power shirts. Yeah.
We had a heroine robe. We had a dragon whip for Rydia, and I think we had an apple or 2.
I was so mad about that heroine robe. I went out of my way to buy a heroine robe because I was like, I just want to make Porum do things. That sounds fun. I didn't really need it, but it was helpful. And then, what are the odds that a heroine robe is just sitting there in the treasury? Like, but that's okay. Yeah, that treasury was, it was pretty good. It was memes out of 10, I guess, considering like it just had a crystal sword that nobody could make use of.
Nobody that we wanted to go and find. Deathlike, do you have any questions for Solaris?
Oh, quick question. So you on the moon, you found Rosa. So you heated Porum over. Is it just because of the HP pool? Is that was the only reason, or is there any other particular reason?
It's the HP pool and getting Cure Force so much earlier, and I figured because I was still doing something for grind or taking a slow boss or whatever, that I had the time to actually get her going and that Fu could take her place. I still put on a heroine robe on her and a rune ring just to help her not die. That's why I ran to Cave Bahamut, because I was like, well, I can go peek the boss, and then, assuming it's not free, I'll take a Behemoth, which is kind of good enough, pretty good for this team that's kind of slow but not super slow, because Behemoths are terribly slow, and Edge was pretty powerful to take that on. You blink up with Fu, everything's fine. That would have gotten her kind of like a kickstart, and then I could have taken that team to the rest of the moon bosses. It turned out the Alt Gauntlet was just there instead, but kind of facilitated the same plan. So yeah, just late game, Rosa's just better, unfortunately.
Sure. The last question I have is, so you went top down, and you thought of going to do bottom up, or just it made no difference to you?
The same thing is probably to go bottom up. There's a consideration because you don't have a pass, but you're kind of, you have the density of the bottom of the moon versus sort of the proximity and the I guess efficiency of going top down. Now Crystal Sword's a weird one because it's out of the way no matter what you do, but on my mind was I had checks that didn't really play out. I'm in a pretty big group race. I'd like to do something to differentiate myself. I don't know if everyone will go top down. If I get something top down like a Twin Harp or a Luca key or the Tower key, I was willing to just take that and run because I didn't go very far in the moon, and then hope that led to my go mode. Didn't end up working out that way, but that's what was on my mind. I think both are pretty viable. Without the pass, maybe more people are willing to do top down, but a lot of people love going bottom up, and for good reason. All the density's down there.
Sure. I like the gamble. I like the top down because you sometimes you want to do for the extra key item before you visit the ribbon room or something like stuff like that. Just so I think it, especially for you gained the pass out of it, and that shaved quite a bit of time.
It was huge.
So, yeah. So GG's again, Solaris. That was a good race.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. This was a delight. I hope everyone enjoyed this little flag set I put together, which really is just inspiration from Asuka's Pink Puff Season 1. The Sea Hero introduction was Sid, so I kind of had that in mind, thought it would be pretty fun, and I enjoyed it. Hope others did as well, and thank you so much, Deathlike, and Dathis. Wow, my brain almost deleted what your name was. Thank you too so much for commentary.
It's not showing his Dathis, so I get you.
And thank you for the tracking and the restreaming. It's super, super appreciated, y'all. But with that, I'll head on out of here, and have a good one.
Have a good night, and again, thank you for letting us restream you.
Of
Again,
course.
that is Solaris. 1 hour, 21 minutes, 41 seconds. First place on Restream. Second place overall for everybody. GG's to him. And we are joined by our resident gambler, Tybalt. GG's on your 4th place finish, 2nd place finish on stream.
Thank you, GG's.
So, same question that I asked Solaris. Your start. You have the best boy of Sid, and you have a second best boy of Kane as well. You've got your power to get you through the majority of the seed. You've got T Wildish on the table. The world's your oyster. Where are you going to loot first? And what was your thought process to go where you went?
So I was thinking to myself before the race even started, like, if I get Palom or Porum or, Cecil, I'm just gonna go to Hobbs, figure out my second character, and go from there. Getting the Magma Key, I'm a little inclined to go underground right away. But if I get Kane, I'm going straight to Evelyn, maybe spike Defense Sword or Gungnir Spear, something good. Unfortunately, found some Muras, but didn't really find any Kane gear until I got down to the Fame Arch and found the free Gungnir. I was so happy when I saw that. And then the Earth Crystal showed up, and like, okay.
Speaking of, we get that Earth Crystal. You go and you give us a lovely look in the treasury. Rate that treasury for me, my friend. What would you call that out of 10?
Zerk Child out of 10.
Artie bow, Heron robe. You don't need anything else. That Porum's going to be doing some damage.
Oh yeah, I think I found some samurai arrows, I think, in Evelyn. Like, it's just like, ooh, Porum's on Hobbs. You're in the party now.
Yeah, we also found Artie arrows later on after going through that Earth Crystal, which, speaking of, we get Earth Crystal, we have ourselves a Quack Kid. He does get yeeted eventually, but your full team's looking like you have a Rydia that you've yeeted away, you've got a Fu, you've got a Palom, you got a Porum, Kane, and Sid. Until you found the edge, what was your kind of thoughts about the squad you could possibly field?
Well, I had 2 crystal swords. And I'm hoping for the guy, but if I don't find him, I find an edge, I'll just sell the crystal swords for, power shirts, Bacchus, something. And, well, I didn't find him, so I sold the crystal swords. It hurt a little inside.
Well, Asuka's listening in, so you may not want to say that last part too loudly. But yeah, I get you. We don't have a Cecil. Those swords are going to be just collecting dust, and you can't take them with you to the next seed. Speaking of, you bought power shirts. You looked at that. You overbought a little bit, and you looked at that white spear, and I saw you. I was like, I felt that. I felt that 100%. You sold everything, I think, but 3 times. Looking through, like, what do I have to sell? Everything? Where's the kitchen sink?
Right? I want something better than a Gungnir. Like, Gungnir's good. But White Spear is just a tad bit better.
Absolutely. So,
and what really hurt was the fact that I had to rebuy Bacchus.
Yeah, we saw that. The dive in again for more is always the bit of a pain. But so you're getting through the seed. We have ourselves an edge. What's kind of your thought? Like, what are you kind of hoping from the Super Smith? Were you hoping for a Kane/Sid weapon that you could share back and forth, or were you just really, or how excited were you for seeing that fiery hammer?
I really didn't care. Like, most of the edge of the Kane weapon or Sid weaponry is really good. Gigantex. Yeah, I wasn't offended by the White Spear at that point. But I mean, Fire Hammer's still good. I saw a lot of mages early on, and I'm thinking, I could do Reflect Strat, saw the Darkness, I could D-Machine, but I really don't want to. If Sid gets the Fiery Hammer, well, then he can technically add to it, because the nuke from the Fiery Hammer is actually decent.
And you know what? Holding off, good idea. You did manage to get yourself your Berserkers. I'm still sad that nobody currently on stream has done Quint. I was a little saddened by that. But speaking
I never got the chance. My Porum took the counter nuke, okay?
Look, we get it. We saw it. We were like, oh, there goes that arrow. That's gone. Speaking of gone, Porum versus Rosa. You still had enough time where you could have gained Rosa some levels. What was the decision to keep Porum? And do you just want to appease to our restreamer and have the murder child murder, or was it you just didn't want to have only half the power couple?
It's not the fact that I didn't want half the power couple. At that time, I'm going to the moon. I had already planned on doing somewhat of a grind utilizing Porum, and I needed her to sell Berserk, which Rosa can't do at that point. Like, I was planning on doing gold dragons, and then all of a sudden, hey, here's the alt gauntlet for you.
That's a great grind.
And I'm like, no one's gonna do this. And here's my grind for levels. Let's go.
Guess what? Everybody did the alt gauntlet.
Because I'm in the race. That's why they did it.
Oh, see, that's what it is. So you decide, because you see the alt gauntlet, and you know you're going to do it, and everyone knows to metagame against you like that. I love it. My favorite metagame of the night. So overall, what were your thoughts about this flag set? This is the second time we've had them, and how have you felt about them running them so far?
I've thoroughly enjoyed it, especially with with the I've always loved the hero flag. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, especially like the Baron Heroes journey, which is happening tomorrow. Just love the heroes flag set, but having a strict hero of just Sid really makes it to where anybody has a chance, because of Sid's agility growth is so slow, and you can really manipulate it to do pretty much any strat for Z you want to do. You want to do Fu and Friends? You want to do any strats? You want to anything? Sid is versatile in that way.
That is very great words of wisdom from you, my friend. Again, GG's. Deathlike, do you have any questions for Tybalt?
Only one quick question. Obviously, Palom for Edge. Was not having faced Val in the seed a factor in it at all? Just no. Okay.
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, you had a cane. That was.
Yeah, I had the cane. Didn't really matter. It was. I've got the Quack Kid. He kind of is going to fall off quickly unless I get him a lot of levels. I've already got half party of Zerkers. Let's just complete the set.
Fair enough. You already had the backup White Mage and Porum, so with the Fu. I'm sure that made your decision a bit easier.
Yeah. And Porum was going to be part of the Zerk party at Z anyways because of the Heroin Robe and Artie move, so.
Absolutely.
GG's Tybalt.
Thank you.
Again, Tybalt the Gambler, 1 hour, 24 minutes, 36 seconds, 4th place overall, 2nd place on Restream. Give your GG's, shoutouts to him, and make sure you shoot him a follow, as he is also playing the airship music from Final Fantasy 1. While we were having our lovely back-to-back interviews, we had a couple of other finishers. As I mentioned, Rybon, 3rd place, 1 hour, 23 minutes, 41 seconds. And we also had our 5th place finisher of Antidale, 1 hour, 27 minutes, 50 seconds. 6th place finisher of Jay Brunter with 1 hour, 28 minutes, 29 seconds. 7th place with Cubs Rule being barely sniped of 1 hour, 28 minutes, 40 seconds. As well, we had Beauty in Discovery with our 8th place finish, 1 hour, 31 minutes, and 40 seconds. And as we can see on the screen, with Z finally disappearing and going back into that crystal room, 1 hour, 39 minutes, 9 seconds, joined by Mike34. GG's, Mike. Who is currently muted. See if we can't get the mic going on in just a moment. While we get...
Okay, sorry.
There we go. Hello, Mike.
Obligatory no mic on moment.
Hey, you know what? You're not the first person to get it wrong. Won't be the last. I know I've done it myself. So we have a lovely divergence in some characters here. You had your starting characters of Sid, you had Kane, and you had yourself a Porum. What's your thought about the seed and what's your plan of attack?
The party was pretty good. It was one of those, I got a bunch of crystal swords, but can't find the guy.
But you know what? We had Sid who wanted to be the guy tonight, and he was putting up crystal sword numbers, so you can't really say no to that.
Yeah, he was hitting for 6k. That was kind of fun.
Absolutely. So while we're getting to the point where we can get there, while our Reestern Oscar is kind of laughing gleefully with, here's some crystal swords, here's an Excalibur, you want to use those, right? He. Nope. We have an Edge with a double Mirasame. We have Kane rocking a Gungnir, and we have Murder Child Porum. You go into that treasury, you see Heroine Robe, you see Artemis Bow, you see Power Shirts, and all the shenanigans in there. What was your thought about that treasury?
Oh, that was really good. I love T Wildish. Many goodies, and it's pretty early in the seed too. It's like for me 20 minutes in or so. So yeah, that was fantastic.
Yeah, everyone got that Earth Crystal, sorry, really quick and early, and technically the Crystal Sword, which was in there, which was a bit of a tease. So you're going through the seed. You were actually one of the people who I think did the Fey March bosses pretty early. What was your thought about the way you were going through the seed, and what made you push towards there a little earlier?
Well, we'd seen every Sparkle at that point, so I knew it was a free fight, and both fights were free. So 2 checks. We didn't have Sirens, so it's a pretty good XP boost for where we were in the seed. Sadly, they were Zonks, but figured free fights, XP, possible progression. Let's go.
Honestly, fantastic concept. So you finished off with probably the most key items out of everybody. You saw the Luca Cave, went through, saw that package, you noped out immediately. Was there ever any thoughts like, do I go and chase this for possible the Crystal Sword Boy, or is it just like one of those hard I don't even kind of things?
So I've been told by wise people that Keyless Tower is always the play. So I did Keyless Tower, and I got my hook, went and checked the cave there, and bought a few coffins, and went to do my rat tail, got the Luca key, went down there, and by then I'd wasted a lot of time. I didn't have time to go try to find Cecil at that point. I had to reset out and start making gambles.
Yeah, you played the seed honestly very well. Went through. So we got ourselves to the moon. I believe you went top down. We couldn't quite see. We did lose your footage for a little bit there. So you know what? Walk us through your thought process. You're going onto the moon. What was your plan of attack, and how did you go through those fights? And what was your thought process and priority?
So at that point, I'd zonked out on the places I'd mentioned, and knew I was pretty well behind. So I was going to chase the first key item I found, which happened to be the tower key. So I did Ribbon Room and just left and did it. And it led to a very long rabbit hole, a pan to Twin Heart, which I reset out of Twin Heart too after it didn't have progression. So that was just the plan. Find a key item, chase it, and hope for the best.
Yeah, and you know what? Overall, you did a fantastic. You did a fantastic job of getting through them. So again, get through the Z fight. Very clinical, DPS pumping out. What were your thoughts about this flag set? Was this your first run, or did you run through both restreams?
This is my first one for the Sid Sea Hero community races.
What did you think about this Sid Sea Hero race in these flags?
Well, Sid Sea Hero is always great because he has very favorable agility. You can really work with it. Like at my levels, I had him up to 28, which is an extraordinary amount of agility for Sid, but that's pretty good for a Z, and with all that damage, we didn't even see a second Big Bang.
Indeed. So, you know what? That was fantastic. Deathlight, do you have any questions for Mike?
The only real question I had was, were you committed to the heart play? Have you picked up?
Yeah, I had to be at that point. I had to be. I was chasing progression, knowing I was behind, and plus, I'm probably maybe the only person that gave you music. I don't know.
You happen to be that on Restream. Yeah, you did the thing. I think at that point, though, everyone we realized that everything was kind of on the moon, so you would whatever, and what you did was very enjoyable. perfect for this race too. The heart theme. The FF1 airship.
Yeah, FF4FE airship.
Yeah, GG's again, Mike, for that.
Yeah, thank you. Did you guys happen to see? I'll have a question for you guys. Did you happen to see the Wyvern fight?
It was Lightning 2. That was like, was there? I don't recall any specifics. Just remember that was Lightning 2. There was Dwarf Castle 1, if I'm not mistaken.
That fight for me was such a thought it was Witchburn. So I opened up with Star Veils. And then I forgot I used my Star Veils and went to nuke. So Fu nuked himself off the planet. And yeah, it's Lightning 2, like you say. And then I tried to equip the Artie bow, Artie arrows on Porum and Zerk, and then she got nuked. And everyone was lifing like mad, and she attacked, didn't do enough damage to win. She did like 3,000 or 4,000 damage. But it was on his remedy cycle. So he remedied, and then she attacked and he won. If it would have been one more nuke, I would have lost.
Ooh, that is, you know what? We take those W's and we don't question them.
Yes. But thanks, everybody. Community races are fun. I don't get to do too many, but when I do, I always have a blast. And I got to be on Restream. Thank you guys for doing comms and everybody who puts the work into it.
All right. Again, thank you very much for joining us and for signing up to be Restream. Mike, you have yourself a wonderful night. Again, that was Mike, our 9th place finisher, 139.09, 3rd place finisher on Restream. GG's to him. And while we were having our interview, Reckless Charlie finished at 10th place, 1 hour, 44 minutes, 50 seconds. Shoutouts and GG's to him. Unfortunately, he has declined an interview, as this is right. Sometimes after seeds, you just kind of want to relax afterwards, and you don't want to do anything. Perfectly up to them. We never request one way or the other. Again, we just thank him for the fact that he let us restream him tonight. So again, that is all 4 of our and tonight that also looks like that is going to be it. But first of all, I want to give one last final shout out. We had Reckless Charlie, Mike, Solaris, and Tybalt, all of our restreamed runners. Please give them all a follow. Send them all the love that you possibly can, because they are fantastic runners in the community in their own rights, especially for showing off like this. As well, please be able to follow everybody who did the behind-the-scenes work. We had Asuka424, our resident Pink Puff Queen, here doing our restreaming. We had eNinja and Sheep Launcher doing our tracking, and again, my co-commentator Deathlike, keeping me honest and enjoying the memes with me.
Oh, that was a lot of fun. And there was definitely scoops of vanilla. Could not miss those. So.
Delicious.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and speaking of vanilla, it looks like we are having a bit of a different sign-off than normal. Usually we find someone, but tonight we have a nice quiet sign-off for everybody tonight as well, but don't worry about that. Tomorrow, we are going to be back on Free Enterprise Prime. We have the Baron Heroes Journey. That is one of our lovely clubs that has each one of the characters from Baron going through a journey and going to be doing their own little sets through. Fantastic little design done by Alchemy. And we have Alchemy and Possum Morpheus on the mic for that. We have Brickety Bricks going to be doing tracking, and Cubs Roll, 3 p.m. on Free Enterprise, 3 p.m. Eastern. So calculate that for yourself, whatever time zone you're in. We hope to see you there. As for tonight, my name is Dathis again. We have Deathlake here, and from all of us here in the Restream booth, thank you very much for joining us, and you all have yourselves a wonderful night, and stay cute.